and incentives and like first principles into like a very regimented frame. Oh, Embassy of Finland. I never would have guessed. Do I like Finland? Maybe. I don't know. I do think there's actually, again, very rambly. But if the sun literally does not come out for like a certain percent of the day, if it's below a threshold, like as it is for some of the Nordics, like that would actually be depressing for me, man. Like genuinely, that'd be tough. But yeah, I just find it funny. Like there's a management science thing to it, which is, I don't know. Like on one hand, like so, like the economist's point, like it clearly shows that you can analyze behavior in that lens, but at the same time, just from like how messy the world is and how messy every organization is, because at the end of the day, every organization is just a distillation or an aggregate of all the different people within it. And because each person interacts with the culture and every other individual in a slightly different way, so it's therefore it's like the classic, like if you have 5 options and you have classic, if you have like 5 options and you have like 5 choices, and each of those choices has like 5 options, and it's like how many combinations can you have, and like so functionally then like every organization is like that, and like I don't know, how do you turn that into a science? I'm not sure. But I suppose I have not taken a management science course, so what would I know? But so back onto the Lindy Man point. So he had a funny. So of course Lindy Man, I'm 90% sure he steals his content. Well, he steals, or at the very least, he steals some of his content from subreddits like Red Scare Pod and stuff like that. Because I think it's not hard to see the diplomat. I guess it makes sense if you're a diplomat and you live here, because this is close to Embassy Row. But would you walk to your place of employment? I tend to suspect that ambassadors tend to not do it. I will say I was walking. Actually, that might be like a next weekend thing or something, to walk around like the actual Embassy Row, and specifically like that little complex where it's like you've got Austria, Egypt, China, Singapore, Israel. It was funny. I was walking by first. I was like, how come there's all this fencing around this embassy? Like, who could it be? Russia? Could it be China? Like, oh, it's Israel. Okay. Makes sense. I do suppose if you're a cop, that is a pretty easy assignment, because you're just, like, literally, you're just sitting there. And again, like, the type of person who would go to a protest of that sort is by definition not the type of protester that, like, you need to worry about, in air quotes, right? Because by definition, it's probably like somebody who's marginally educated with a college degree of some sort. And again, back to the prior, it's like folk Bayesianism. Folk Bayesianism. Right, of course, for like Bayes' law, the entire point of it is that you, like, once you have new information, you can have a conditional probability, right? And you can like update like your the expected outcome of the thing if you want, right? Because that's, I don't know, that's a good old Bayes' law, which I butchered. But it's like, so if you know someone has a college degree, right? I guess the Bayesian setup would be like, if someone is at a protest, and if someone has a college degree, Like, what are the odds that person does something malevolent? It's like, I don't know, man. McKinsey consultants, or I guess BCG. BCG has become the new bad guy. But with the, it's like, so I just was, so again, so maybe the Bayesian odds aren't as clean as you would think. But yeah, but that's gotta be a cushy assignment, because when I was there were literally like 15 Secret Service cars there. You know, I was like, man, if only Doge went after the right things. It is funny, like it's like, go after government spending, not the government spending I like. You know, I will say one nice thing I like about the DMV. That's a flag. That's your who'd that be? Argentina? No. San Marino? Probably. One nice thing I like the DMV is all of those, like, the fact that random houses have statues on their front lawn. Like, that is actually kind of charming. That, again, right, like, conceptually, having a big statue on your lawn, that probably makes mowing the lawn kind of hard. But again, you have such conspicuous wealth. And that's the point. That's the term. Conspicuous consumption. Having a retro car is conspicuous consumption. Having a yacht is conspicuous consumption. And therefore, because it's visible and gratifying and all of that, it's visible. And therefore, it shows the signal value. And that's why you do it. That's the term, conspicuous consumption. Congrats to my brain cells today. Whatever fancy terms, kind of dialectical materialism. Yeah, that's kind of it. Oh, is this Morocco? Huh. That is Morocco. Yeah. Red and green. That's pretty cool. Huh. So I guess the countries. So if the Finnish guy lives here and the Moroccan guy lives here. Oh, I guess the Moroccan guy has his own guy. Or his own two guys, evidently. It's like, I don't know. Many things, if I was a citizen of a country, I could be angry about. Instead, I choose to... Instead, I pay tax dollars here. But what can you do? What can you do? But yeah, so this is longer than yesterday's. Hair is still muscled. But at least today, the security guys, they got to see New Jersey. Low Marseille. Actually, I do like Marseille. I guess to bring it full circle on what I was saying about Marseille and why I like them. I think, and I have come to appreciate that, the fact that like sports, a lot of it, like you look at the NBA, like is an actual NBA game that fun to watch? Like generally, if you're being honest, no. Ad breaks, all the fouling, all of like the bad calls. An actual NBA game is not that fun to watch. Certainly not a regular season game. What is fun is all of the discourse around it. The trades and the antics. Now, like, you know, these players tend to have bad personal judgment when it comes to baby mamas and all that stuff, like Anthony Edwards and all that. Right? And so in that sense, so like saying that at face value, like I wholly agree with the proposition that sports are like male dramas. And so with that framing, then I don't know, it's not that interesting if it's the perfect family. It's like no, but like certainly not nowadays, right? Like maybe in the past there were shows that like showed the happy nuclear family, but today I don't think any modern sitcom, I guess Modern Family kind of screws it, But no modern sitcom is like it's not like a conventional nuclear family, right? Like there's always some wrinkle they toss in. And so with that answer, right, it's like that kind of shows that dysfunctionality is kind of charming, or has a charm of its own. And I agree with that. And so it's like, well, Olympique Marseille is objectively a fairly a marginally dysfunctional club. Of course, not in practice, but in terms of it's too big to fail, essentially. Yeah, I just find it very charming. I find like there's so many antics that goes on. Like there was a manager who got death threats and so quit. The sporting director got death threats and like was in furlough for a bit and is now back. The fact that of course it's Marseille, and so you do have a very classic north-south divide. Personally, Marseille is from the south of France, and the south of France is not Paris. Is this Lebanon? I think this might be Lebanon. Yes, Lebanon. Well, this was quite full circle, if you ask me. Yeah, that's not a bad embassy. Has a nice retro style to it. Some character. I don't know. If you're ever interested, just look up like Marseille scandals. Just think about like if I'm being objective, Marseille have not won a trophy in over a decade, which for the second biggest club in France. Or certainly second biggest today, or top 5 club in France. Cause I don't want to say it like, or like giving short change, like Saint Etienne, or something like that. But I don't know, it's just very charming. So to recap the points of today, it turns out I now have video proof that the security, I am actually a known entity to the entities, the schmucks that be. National Cathedral is a very impressive place to walk around. All of this is quite accessible by transit. Again, let this be a lesson. If you don't want schmucks like me, just lower the property value. That is great. That is great. Because objectively, right, like access to public transit increases property value. And so by definition, if you don't, but therefore, right, because it is desirable, it's a plus. And so therefore, to prevent me from stopping by, just reduce the property value of your place. And bam, problem solved. It's like, I'm not going to John Bolton's place. That's not transit accessible in the slightest. But I will go here. Tomorrow, it's Labor Day. Hopefully, I'll be less hungry tomorrow morning. And we'll do a big walk tomorrow. And we'll head up the Fed chair. I do suppose the other irony is that just by walking around, like I've walked past a couple buildings or houses or whatever of people that quote unquote matter. Just an accident. They can't all be nice like the Finnish guy to publicize it. But That was also bad timing with the sprinkler. Up there. Kudos to that guy. I just suppose the other thing is you do get to see bad driving habits. I think yesterday we had a couple, like the classic no turn on red setup. I think same degree here. You have the bad driving as well. That would be a fun study. What U.S. city has the worst driving or worst drivers? It's like probably somewhere in the deep south or Texas, be my guess. But what do I know? Well, the DMV is quite miserable in that aspect. Well, this has been another successful hour and a half thing. Actually, the nice thing is that this is like untainted actual footage of the built environment in the world. So stuff like this is actually useful for training a video model. Because like, this is different. I don't think a lot of people have uploaded videos like this. So that's what, like, there is actually like a novelty to it that is useful. Or again, for my future montage of nice places to walk around in DMV and not nice, this will also be up as I die. It'll also be up there. So, and here we are. Perfect parallelism. Like George Lucas said, it's like a poem. It rhymes. So thanks for watching.